press the red button. Okay, so today we're going into 4.3, factoring trinomials. Okay, so this is a trinomial. It has 3 terms, right? It's got an x squared, an x, and then a number. Alrighty? So what we're first going to do is complete the table up top here. And it simply says expand and simplify. So in this case, if I'm expanding, I've got to multiply everything by everything. So I get x squared plus 3x plus x plus 3. So that's going to give me x squared plus 4x plus 3. So based on that, guys, what do you see as your b value and what do you see as your c value? So look up here.
4x, 3.
Good. So the b, it's kind of like a standard formula, guys. And like y equals mx plus b, where we're always looking for things in particular locations. The 4 is your b value, and that is with your x. So it's not 4x, it's just the number. Okay, so it's just 4. And then we have 3, which is just our number, and that's our c value. Okay, so does that make sense to everybody? We're following this exact same form. The x squared, bx is a number and then x. So the number is 4 and then x. And then c is just a number by itself, which is 3. So let's do that for the next ones. Okay, now I have minus 4 and 3. Okay, and we're doing the same thing all the way down. We're just looking at simply what are our b values, what are our c values. Any questions so far? So just a reminder, right? We're working with trinomials. We have 3 terms. We have our x squared, we have our bx, and we have our c. Okay, so 3 terms. Now I want you just to think about the next 2 questions. What do you think the next 2 questions mean? Okay, next 2 questions. What do they mean? How does the b value relate to the binomial? So look back to your binomials. Remember, your binomials are the things that have 2 terms. So here are your binomials. And they're asking, how does the b value relate to those binomials? How does the b value relate to these binomials? Yes, Lachlan?
It's the 2 middle terms. Put into y here. Well, what am I saying?
You're on the right track. Think about it. So look at your 2 binomials here, okay? Is there any way that you can see that becoming that? Right? It's asking how it relates to the b value. This is your b value. So take a look at these 2 binomials. How do you think you get there? Correct?
Adding them.
Adding them. Very good. So he noticed, but adding what? The variables?
No, the curves.
The numbers, right? Okay? So actually not even the coefficients in this case. The coefficient is a number before the variable, right? But yes, the numbers, okay? Look, +1 + 3 gives you 4. -1, -3 gives you +1, -3, -2. You see the pattern? Okay? So in this case, so adding the two values from each binomial produces b. Okay, so that gives us our b value. Now what about c? How do we get the c value?
It's always in minus.
Once again, looking at the binomials, what do you think?
Yes, it's always in minus.
It is, but what's special? Same thing how we added the two values, correct?
Multiplying.
Now we're going to multiply. Multiplying these two values gives us the c value. Look here, -1 and +3 gives us -3. Okay, so now instead of adding, we multiply, and that's going to give us our c value. And that's actually all that is explained in this box down here. They're saying to get C, we have to do R times S, and to get B, we have to do R plus S, okay? And R, and S are our values, right? Right, so that's all it's saying. It's just putting it into formula state instead of just using words. So in this case, you have two binomials multiplying each other, which gives you a trinomial, okay? And when we have something like this, R plus S is going to give us our B value, which is what we said, and R times S is going to give us our C value, which is what we said here. Questions about that? So now we're looking at factoring. So we're looking at going in the opposite direction. So here we had the factored form, we expanded. Now we have the expanded form, and I want you to factor, which means you are going to try and find two binomials. Okay, we're going in the opposite direction now. If you have x squared, which is what we're working with today, there's no number in front of x squared, there's no coefficient other than 1. Okay, we just have x squared. It's very simple because we just put an x in each set of brackets. Okay, we take those two x's and we put 1 in each bracket. Now, based on the rules we just talked about, I want two numbers that are going to add together to give me 4, because that's my B value, and I want those same numbers to multiply together to give me my C value. Can someone come up with two numbers that will do both of those things? Yep. 3 and 1. Okay? 3 and 1. Because if I take 3 and 1, they're going to add to give me 4. And if I take 3 times 1, they're going to multiply to give me 3. And that gives me my two values in my brackets. So I have just factored that to be x plus 3 times x plus 1. Let's do the next one. Set up our brackets. I only have one x squared here, so an x goes in each bracket. Now I need to determine my numbers. Okay? I need two numbers that add together to give me 7, my b value. And I need two numbers that multiply to give me 10. Sonia? 5 and 2. So let's try it. 5 and 2, 5 and 2. Good. So this is going to be plus 5, plus 2. Yes, Dylan?
How do you know which one it would be for, like, because there's two numbers
Yeah.
that you have to, so why is B5 and why is C2? What wouldn't it be B5 and B2?
Well, in this case, the b and c values technically are 7 and 10.
Yeah.
These values are R and S, and it actually does not matter the order in this
Oh,
case.
okay.
Because if you did 5 plus 2,
Yeah.
it's going to give you 7. If you do 2 plus 5, it's going to give you 7. 5 times 2, 10.
So would
2
you
times
do,
5 is
could
10.
you x plus 2 and x plus 5? X plus 2 and
Yeah.
x times 5?
Yes, because with multiplication, it's
Okay.
interchangeable, right?
Mhm.
If you do 3 times 2 or 2 times 3, it's
Yeah.
going to give you the same amount. So if you do x plus 2 or x plus 5 and you switch them, it's still going to give you the same answer. And guys, you can always check your work. If you're not sure if you factored it correctly, check it. Because all you have to simply do is expand again. If you expand, you should get the same answer, right? 5x, 2x is going to give you 7x. That's the same thing, right? So you can automatically know you're right. Let's try C. Brackets, x, x. I'm looking for two numbers that add together to give me -6. Be very careful with your negative and positive signs. -6. And they're going to multiply together to give me my last term, which is C, which is -27. Hafsa? Positive 3 and -9. Very good. Okay? Positive 3 and -9. Let me write that in red. Okay, and then there you have your factored term. Some of you, though, are probably asking, okay, great, some people in the class are like automatically getting what the numbers are, but how do we get those numbers? Okay, what you want to start off with is, what I like to do personally is the factored part, so the multiplication part. So you look at 27, okay, because you're looking for two numbers that will multiply to give you 27. So I want to look at all the factors of that. I can use 1 times 27. I can use, nope, 2 times nothing, nope. 3 times 9. Do I have anything else that might work to multiply to give me 27? No. Okay? So important, guys, that you know your multiplication tables. If you are not a pro at your multiplication tables, you need to be practicing them every single night. Factoring is going to be 100 times harder for you if you don't know your multiplication. Okay? It is so essential. So, if I look at these two, and then I know I also need the numbers to add to give me -6, can I get -6 from these? No. Even if I do 27 minus 1, if I do 27 plus 1, either way, I'm going to get something to do with 26, way far away from 6. And so I look at 3 and 9. Oh, those look like they might be able to produce 6 for me. But then now you need to decide which one's going to be negative and which one's going to be positive. So you've got to then look at, okay, well, I need -6. So I need the bigger number to be negative. Okay, because then if I have +3, -9, gives me negative 6. Yes.
And ultimately, you're picking the greatest, right? Greatest factor. So it wouldn't be 1 times 27 if you have 3 times 9, right?
Well, not necessarily, yes. In terms of greatest factor, like in terms of 6 having 3 in common as well?
No, just like 3 times 9. Oh yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah, so in this case, we're not necessarily working with greatest common factor per se, but we are still looking at factors. Okay? So, let's try the next one. Brackets, x in each bracket. I need 2 numbers that add together to give me 8. I need 2 numbers that multiply together to give me 16. Okay? So let's do it in the way that I just did on the board. Quickly, for those of you who are still not seeing it right away.
4 and 4.
Good. Okay? So it is 4 and 4, but if we were looking at 16, we'd look at the factors of 16, 1 times 16, 2 times 8, and 4 times 4. And then we're asking ourselves, well, I need 2 numbers that are going to add to also give me 8. This is not going to get me anywhere near 8. Looking at this, you're like, oh, I see an 8. Okay, but plus or minus 2, not going to get you to 8. Okay, I see 4 and 4. I can use 4 and 4 to work to get me 8. Okay? So in this case, we would have plus 4 plus 4, which is also known as perfect square trinomial. Right, guys? Okay, so can you guys try the next 2 for me, please? And I'll take them up in a minute. Try the next 2, please. Peter, you do it in your head. See if you can get them while you hold the camera for us.
-3 and -4.
Okay, so for this one, E, notice that even though we have a negative and a negative, that works for subtraction, because negative 3 minus another 4 is going to give us negative 7. But then negative and a negative give us positive with multiplication. Okay, so we are still able to get our positive 12 there. What about this one here?
5 and
Five
-3.
negative 3.
Good. Okay, so 5 and negative 3 gives us positive 2. And 5 times negative 3 is going to give us negative 15. So we're feeling pretty good about that? Okay, so the next sheet here is a worksheet. So I'd like you to factor. I'd like you to go down. You have about 10 minutes to do this, and then I'm going to go and I'll put up all the answers for you. Okay? And for those of you who are watching the video, stop the video now. Try this